Those who are not spiritually gifted and can't sense the unknown, can't see the things that the spiritually gifted can see, those people are just as important as the spiritually gifted. And we all have different roles to play in God's purpose and God's plan. The ones who are lacking the abilities, the spiritual sight, the spiritual awareness, those people are oftentimes the rock, the foundation for those select few who do have the spiritual gifts. I know for me, my head is always in the clouds. I am thinking about God, I'm thinking about purpose, I'm thinking about spirituality, I'm thinking about all those things, and guess what? My sight for my awareness of what's going on in the real world, it is lacking now. I don't sit and worry about, bills and all that stuff, and that stuff is important. You gotta pay your bills. You can't have your family living out on the street. And my wife, who lacks the kind of spiritual awareness that I have, she is the one who keeps me grounded. And I have so many friends who aren't spiritual at all, or at least, very, very little spirituality and definitely no spiritual sight. They are the foundation who keep me grounded all the time. They are some of the kindest people, and they have huge roles to play in God's plan. Maybe possibly even bigger than most with spiritual sight. It's all different jobs and different tasks and different missions that we have. And it doesn't matter if you're coming from a place of, I can hear angels talking to me. I can hear spirits, in the animals. I can feel it in the wind. It doesn't matter if you're that or if you're somebody who is just a regular old average Joe or Jane and sweeping the floors at a Target or a Walmart. It doesn't matter, because all that matters is if you pursue and fulfill God's plan for you and God's purpose for you. And that is almost always to spread light. And we do that in so many different ways. We do that through being there for people, or we do that through actually spreading God's word. And we need all different types of people, good and bad, honestly, because bad play a role too. If you're an evil person and you're very spiritually gifted, and you're channeling a negative energy, that is also just as important to the plan, because those people allow us to have something to overcome. Just like the darkness is essential. We need all kinds of people. Some of the greatest people I know lack spiritual gifts. They are so grounded, they can't see. If you tell them, I could hear my grandfather talking to me through a dove or whatever, they will look at you like you're completely nuts, which you probably are, just a little bit nuts. But you have to be a little nuts to have that spiritual sight. And the ones that don't have that spiritual sight, their purpose is, I believe, sometimes even more important than those who have spiritual sight. Since my spiritual sight is very, on the low end, I believe, I seem to connect the dots and see connections more than I'm seeing, channeling spirits or, whatever like that. But everybody is drastically different. But those people who lack the spiritual gifts, who can't really connect the dots at all and see the unknown at all, those people are there to keep us on the ground. Those people are there to keep us in touch and to keep the world moving. Because imagine a world full of spiritually enlightened people. Yeah, it would probably be a more pleasant place, at least for a little while, but then probably not much would get done, and probably You would have an interesting scenario. I'm not saying I know exactly what would happen. I do wish more people were spiritually enlightened, but that's my ideas of what should happen are definitely not. I don't know what the hell is going on half the time. So why should I make that call? Why should I question God's plan? God made everyone so uniquely different for a reason, and that is because we need a sort of chaos, and then we also need the order. And 95% of the people who don't have spiritual gifts at all are that order within the chaos. And some of them are such great people and still can sense deep down inside, they can feel God's plan, just because they can't, see it like the spiritually gifted can. They sense it in their own way. And that is, like I said, I think, as important, if not more important, for God's plan.